25 of the Blanket Fort Daily Devo. We've been going through our daily bread. Mine's a 90-day sample edition, and we've just been picking the devotional for the day and running through all the scriptures. So with that, let's get started. Father God, we thank you for this time together. As we dive into your word, give us hearts and ears of understanding. Speak to us, Lord, and allow whatever it is you're trying to speak to us. May it just penetrate our spirits and just plant seeds in our lives that you can water and help to grow and bear fruit in our lives. We dedicate this time to you, Lord, and it's in the precious name of your Son, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, we pray. Amen. All right, so we got a little bit extra reading to do today, so I'm not sure how long we'll be here today. We're going to be starting in Psalm 136, and then we will be reading Exodus 34, then Exodus 12 to 13, and Matthew 16. So we'll start with Psalm 136. Got a lot of bookmarks in my Bible right now. It's got to remember which is which. All right, Lord, speak through me today. Psalm 136. His steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who alone does great wonders, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who by understanding made the heavens, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who spread out the earth above the waters, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who made the great lights, for his steadfast love endures forever. To the sun to rule over the day, for his steadfast love endures forever. The moon and stars to rule over the night, for his steadfast love, endures forever. To him who struck down the firstborn of Egypt, for his steadfast love endures forever, and brought Israel out from among them, for his steadfast love endures forever. With a strong hand and an outstretched arm, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who divided the Red Sea in two, for his steadfast love endures forever, and made Israel pass through the midst of it, for his steadfast love endures forever, but overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who struck down great kings, for his steadfast love endures forever, and killed mighty kings, for his steadfast love endures forever. Sihon, king of the Amorites, for his steadfast love endures forever, and Og, king of Bashan, for his steadfast love endures forever, and gave their land as a heritage, for his steadfast love endures forever, a heritage to Israel his servant, for his steadfast love endures forever. It is he who remembered us in our low estate, for his steadfast love endures forever, and rescued us from our foes, for his steadfast love endures forever. He who gives food to all flesh, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven, for his steadfast love endures forever. And then we are going to move over to, I think it was this one here. Yeah, I think it was Exodus 34. Is that what I said? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be jumping over to Exodus 34 now, which is titled, Moses Makes New Tablets. So, sorry, the first two that I'm reading, the devotional just always gives us one verse, and I like to read the whole chapter just so we get the context. So that's why I'm going to read these first two, and then we'll do the devotional. So, Exodus 34, titled, Moses Makes New Tablets. Excuse me. The Lord said to Moses, Cut for yourself two tablets of stone like the first, and I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke. Be ready by the morning, and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me on the top of the mountain. No one shall come up with you, and let no one be seen through all the mountain. I think my ice machine's gonna pop off, so I apologize in advance. Let no flocks or herds graze opposite that mountain. So Moses cut 2 tablets of stone like the first, and he rose early in the morning and went up on Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and took in his hand 2 tablets of stone. The Lord descended in the clouds and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of the Lord. The Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness, keeping steadfast love for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, but who will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children and the children's children to the 3rd and the 4th generation. And Moses quickly bowed his head toward the earth and worshipped. And he said, If now I have found favor in your sight, O Lord, please let the Lord go in the midst of us. For it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance. The next section, titled The Covenant Renewed, excuse me. And he said, Behold, I am making a covenant. Before all your people I will do marvels such as have not been created in all the earth or in any nation. And all the people among whom you are, and all the people among whom you are shall see the work of the Lord, for it is an awesome thing that I will do with you. Observe what I command you this day. Behold, I will drive out before you the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Take care lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land to which you go, lest it become a snare in your midst. You shall tear down their altars and break their pillars and cut down their Asherim, for you shall worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and when they whore after their gods and sacrifice to their gods, and you are invited, you eat of his sacrifice, and you take of their daughters for your sons, and their daughters whore after their gods, and make your sons whore after their gods. You shall not make for yourself any gods of cast metal. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the time appointed in the month of Abib. For in the month of Abib you came out of Egypt. All that open the womb are mine, all your male livestock, the firstborn of cow and sheep, the firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb, or if you will not redeem it, you shall break its neck. All the firstborn of your sons you shall redeem, and none shall appear before me empty-handed. 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day you shall rest. In plowing time and in harvest you shall rest. You shall observe the feast of weeks, the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end. 3 times in the year shall your males appear before the Lord, the God of Israel. For I will cast out nations before you and enlarge your borders. No one shall covet your land. When you go up to appear before the Lord your God 3 times in the year, you shall not offer blood of my sacrifice with anything leavened, or let the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover remain until the morning. The best of the first fruits of your ground you shall bring to the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. And the Lord said to Moses, Write these words, for in accordance with these words I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. So he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate bread nor drank water, and he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. The next section, titled The Shining Faces of Moses. The Shining Face of Moses, not faces, sorry. How's it going, Neriah? Welcome to the stream. Cody, nice to have you here. Thank you for joining me. I'm just moving on to Exodus 34, chapter 29, titled The Shining Face of Moses. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand as he came down from the mountain, Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone, because he had been talking with God. Aaron and all the people of Israel saw Moses, and behold, the skin of his face shone. and they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called to them, and Aaron and all the leaders of the congregation returned to him, and Moses talked with them. Afterward, all the people of Israel came near, and he commanded them all that the Lord had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. And when Moses had finished speaking with them, he put a veil over his face. Whenever Moses went before the Lord to speak with him, he would remove the veil until he came out. And when he came out and told the people of Israel what he was commanded, the people of Israel would see the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face was shining, and Moses would put the veil over his face again until he went in to speak with him. All right, and that concludes the reading for now. I'm going to just going to take care of that. God bless you, Michelle Davis, but we are not here for fruitless debates. So God bless you. Thank you for joining the stream. Okay, so now we're going to move over to... All right, so today's is titled Steadfast Love, and it's by Amy Peterson. How's it going, Ashley? Thank you for finding your way here. God bless you. We're just starting the devotional now. All right. I love you, my dad called out as I slammed the car door and headed into school. I was in 6th grade, and for months we had played out basically the same scenario every morning. Oh, there goes the ice machine again. We arrived at school, Dad said. Have a great day. I love you. And all I said was bye. I wasn't angry with him or ignoring him. I was simply, excuse me, I was simply so wrapped up in my own thoughts that I didn't notice his words. Nevertheless, my dad's love remains steadfast. God's love is like that and more. It endures forever. The Hebrew word that expresses this steadfast kind of love is, I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize, hesed. Basically looks like he said. It's used over and over again in the Old Testament, and 26 times in Psalm 136 alone. No modern word could fully capture the meaning. We translate it kindness, or loving kindness, or mercy, or loyalty. He said, or hesed, is a love that's based on covenant commitment, love that is loyal and faithful. Even when God's people sinned, he was faithful in loving them. Steadfast love is an integral part of the character of God, Exodus 34, verse 6. When I was a child, I sometimes took my dad's love for granted. Sometimes now I do the same thing with my Heavenly Father's love. I forget to listen to God and respond. I forget to be grateful. Yet I know that God's love for me remains steadfast, a reality that provides a sure foundation for all my life. And today's reflection questions are: whose love have you occasionally taken for granted, and how might you thank them? Whose love have you occasionally taken for granted? Honestly, I'd probably be in the same boat as this person who wrote this. I definitely take my parents' love for granted, and a lot of like the close people in my life. I'm a very private person, and I'm actually really terrible at keeping in contact with my mom and dad. And I can go months and months without actually reaching out to them. And we're not getting any younger. They're definitely getting up there in age, and you never know when they're gonna go to be with the Lord. So I know that in my heart. So for the second part of it, how might I thank them? Might just be a phone call. I know that being a parent myself, if I hadn't heard from my kids in a while and they just called to say, I love you and been thinking about you, that's all that I would really need. So I'm hoping that that's all it would take for me. But there's lots of ways. We could always take them out for a dinner just to show appreciation. We can offer our services in any way, I guess. Yeah, this is kind of a tough one. I don't know. I would also say that I take my wife's love for granted. It took me a long time to figure that out, and I made a lot of really stupid choices. Um, and unfortunately, I made some really, really bad choices, and it was almost too late to realize that I took her love for granted. But thankfully, the Lord's kept us together, and we've been working on that love. And I know that I need to show her appreciation a lot more too. She does a lot for our family, especially with me being disabled or permanently disabled. in medical terms, still waiting on the Lord's healing. But she's had to really step up and take care of a lot of things. And I really do appreciate that. She never complains to me anyway. Um, she's an amazing woman, and I'm truly blessed to have her in my life. All right, enough of that, right? Um, God, we praise you for your steadfast love to us. Even when we're faithless, you are faithful. Amen. Okay, so now we're going to be moving to Exodus 12 to 13. Again, I just want to thank everybody who's been following along with me in these devotionals. I hope that you're getting something out of it, because I am still super uncomfortable being here in front of you. All right, what did I say? Exodus. Ashley says, God bless her. Yeah, truly. Her family actually is a big part of strengthening my relationship with God, because my family wasn't necessarily very faithful or a household of believers, and it wasn't really until my wife's family started planting those little seeds that God was able to kind of help water them and really get me to notice him to be very real, and it led to my healing and all this stuff. But that's a video for another time. All right, so let's move over to Exodus 12 to 13. Exodus 12, the Passover. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall be for you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Tell all the congregation of Israel that on the 10th day of this month every man shall take a lamb according to their father's house, a lamb for a household. And if the household is too small for a lamb, then he and his nearest neighbor shall take according to the number of persons, according to what each can eat. You shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male a year old. You may take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of the month, when the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill their lamb at twilight." Oh, yeah, when? "Then they shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts in the lintel of the houses in which they eat it. They shall eat the flesh that night, roasted on the fire. With unleavened bread and bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat any of it raw or boiled in water, but roasted, its head with its legs and its inner parts, and you shall let none of it remain until the morning. Anything that remains until the morning you shall burn. In this manner you shall eat it, with your belt fastened, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover, for I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and on all in all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. The blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and when I see the blood I will pass over you, and no plague will befall you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. This day shall be for you a memorial day, and you shall keep it as a feast to the Lord. Throughout your generations as a statute forever, you shall keep it as a feast. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall remove leaven out of your houses, for if anyone eats what is leavened from the first day until the 7th day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. On the first day you shall hold a holy assembly, and on the 7th day a holy assembly. No work shall be done on those days, but what everyone needs to eat, that alone may be prepared for you. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for on this very day I brought your hosts out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe this day throughout your generations as a statute forever. In the first month, from our 14th day of the month at evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses. If anyone eats what is leavened, a person will be cut off from the congregation of Israel. Whether he is a sojourner or a native of the land, you shall eat nothing leavened. In all your dwelling places you shall eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called all the elders of Israel and said to them, Go and select lambs for yourselves according to your clans, and kill the Passover lamb. Take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and touch excuse me, and touch the lintel and the 2 doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. None of you shall go out of the door of this house until the morning, for the Lord will pass through to strike the Egyptians. And when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the 2 doorposts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not allow the destroyer to enter your houses to strike you. You shall observe this rite as a statute for you and for your sons forever. And when you come to the land that the Lord will give you, as he has promised, you shall keep this service. And when your children say to you, "What do you mean by this service?" you shall say, "It is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, for he passed over the houses of the people of Israel in Egypt, when he struck the Egyptians, but spared our houses." And the people bowed their heads and worshipped. Then the people of Israel went and did so, as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so they did. The next section, titled "The 10th Plague, Death of the Firstborn." At midnight the Lord struck down all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captain who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where someone was not dead. Then he summoned Moses and Aaron by night, and said, "Go up out from among my people, both you and the people of Israel, and go serve the Lord as you have said. Take your flocks and your herds as you have said, and be gone, and bless me also." The next section, titled "The Exodus." The Egyptians were urgent with the people to send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we shall all be dead." So the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading bowls being bound up in their cloaks on their shoulders. The people of Israel had also done as Moses had told them, for they had asked the Egyptians for silver and gold jewelry and for clothing. And the Lord had given the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so they let them have what they asked. Thus they plundered the Egyptians. And the people of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, besides women and children. A mixed multitude also went up with them, and very much livestock, both flocks and herds, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough that they had brought out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not wait. Nor had they prepared any provisions for themselves. The time that the people of Israel lived in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of 430 years, on that very day, all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It was a night of watching by the Lord to bring them out of the land of Egypt. So this same night is a night of watching kept to the Lord by all the people of Israel throughout their generations. Sorry, I just got to take a water break real quick. All right. Next section, titled Institution of the Passover. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "This is the statute of the Passover, for no foreigner shall eat of it, but every slave that is bought for money, may eat of it after you have circumcised him. No foreigner or hired worker may eat of it. It shall be eaten in one house. You shall not take any of the flesh outside of the house, and you shall not break any of its bones. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. If a stranger shall sojourn with you, and would keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised. Then he may come near and keep it. He shall be as a native of the land, but no uncircumcised person shall eat it." Excuse me. There shall be one law for the native and for the stranger who sojourns among you. All the people of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. And on that very day, The Lord brought the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their hosts. Whew, Lord, help me read, please. Exodus 13, consecration of the firstborn. The Lord said to Moses, "Consecrate to me all the firstborn, whoever is the first to open the womb among the people of Israel, both of man and of beast is mine." Next section titled The Feast of Unleavened Bread. Then Moses said to the people, "Remember this day in which you came out of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, for by a strong hand the Lord brought you out from this place. No leavened bread shall be eaten today and all the month of Abib you are going out. And when the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he swore to your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, you shall keep this service in the month. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be a feast to the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. No leavened bread shall be seen with you, and no leaven shall be seen with you in all your territory. You shall tell your son on that day, "It is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt," and it shall be to you as a sign on your hand and as a memorial between your eyes, that the law of the Lord may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand the Lord has brought you out of Egypt. You shall therefore keep this statute at its appointed time from year to year. When the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you and your fathers, and shall give to you, you shall set apart to the Lord all that first open the womb. All the firstborn of your animals that are male shall be the Lord's. Every firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb, or if you will not redeem it, you shall break its neck. Every firstborn of man among your sons shall redeem. And when in time to come your sons ask you, "What does this mean?" you shall say to him, "By a strong hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, from the house of slavery. For when Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, the Lord killed all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of animals. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all the males that open the womb, but all the firstborn of my sons I redeem. I shall be as a mark on your hand or frontlets between your eyes. For by a strong hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt." Next section titled Pillars of Cloud and Fire. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by way of land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest the people change their minds when they see war and return to Egypt. But God led the people around by the way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea, and the people of Israel went up out of the land of Egypt equipped for battle. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel solemnly swear, saying, "God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones with you from here." And they moved on from Succoth and encamped at Etham, on the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they may travel by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not depart from before the people. And then the last thing we're reading is Matthew 16. Sorry about that. I always get this constant tickle in my throat. All right, Matthew 16, that's what it said, right? Titled, The Pharisees and Sadducees Demand Signs. And the Philistines, oh my goodness. Lord, please help. And the Pharisees and Sadducees came, and to test him, they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. He answered them, "When it is evening, you say, 'It will be fair weather, for the sky is red.'" I don't know if you guys can hear my dog drinking, but it feels like it's been like 5 minutes. She's so loud. Sorry, I'm just going to start that over again. And the Pharisees and Sadducees came, and to test him, they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. And he answered them, When it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it will be a stormy day, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. An evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign, but no sign will be given to except the sign of Jonah. So he left them and departed. Next section titled The Leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. When the disciples reached the other side, they had forgotten to bring any bread. Jesus said to them, Watch and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And they began discussing it among themselves, saying, We brought no bread. But Jesus, aware of this, O you of little faith, why are you discussing among yourselves the fact that you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive? Oh, excuse me. Do you not remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000, and how many baskets you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000, and how many baskets you gathered? How is it that you fail to understand that I did not speak about bread? Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. When they understood that he did not tell them to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees, then they understood that he did not tell them to beware of the leaven of bread, but the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. Next section titled Peter Confesses Jesus is Christ. Now when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, Who do people say the Son of Man is? And they said, Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He said to them, But who do you say that I am? Simon Peter replied, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered him, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then he strictly charged the disciples to tell no one that he was the Christ. Next section titled Jesus Foretells His Death and Resurrection. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed, and on the 3rd day be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, Far be it from you, Lord, this shall never happen to you. But he turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man. Next section titled, Take up your cross and follow Jesus. Then Jesus told his disciples, If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? I'm going to read that one again because it's a very powerful one. If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay each person according to what he has done. Truly I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And that concludes today's devotional. I just want to thank everybody who joined me today. I hope you guys were encouraged. Later tonight on the ministry through IGIT, if you go into my bio, there's a link that goes to our ministry. Tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, our sister Julie will be going live for history truths from the Bible, basically. So it's been pretty interesting every time she goes on. It's always given us new wrinkles in our brain as we're learning along with her. She has a great way of teaching, so I really encourage you guys to join us over there. Again, that's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. If not, if you guys are on X or Twitter, I do a morning Bible space from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, where we just listen to a fully dramatized audio Bible. You can look me up at Billy Official. It's all lowercase letters. It's the same profile picture as on this profile for YouTube. But yeah, it's Monday to Friday. We do that every day for the first kind of 2 hours of our morning. It's a really great way to start your day. And I love the dramatized audio Bible. It just brings it to life in a brand new way. You can hear the intensity behind people's voices and the swords clashing. And yeah, it's been pretty cool. I'm old school, so I grew up listening to the radio programs, like Adventures in Odyssey and things like that. So yeah, enough about me. Time to let you guys get back to your day. So yeah, if I don't see you on any of those things, I will be back here tomorrow, God willing, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard for our next devotional. And as always, I love you guys and God bless you.